Hey, what up, everybody? I hope all of y'all is having a blessed and humble day. I hope all of y'all continue to have a blessed and humble day. This is y'all, shorty Racheal, and I want to welcome all of y'all to the Writers for Life brings you the Let's Talk About It podcast. So tonight, I was supposed to do this a little earlier, but I've been a little caught up. That's the only time that I got to do it. So, like I told y'all, listen, that's why I don't like scheduling lives because I end up rescheduling. But I want to take the time and thank everybody that supports a shorty, that rocks out with a shorty. But let's talk about it. I'm going to react to these school board meetings. We're going to watch a video. I've been doing my research. Um, it's going to be kind of hard to react to a lot of them. This video that I got right here is recently. I can't react to the other ones because of a copyright, but this one's public. So this video right here is what we're going to be reacting to. So let's see what's going on with the school board meetings. The same thing that I am doing, y'all could do in each and every one of y'all cities and y'all states. Y'all could actually pull up the Zoom meetings. It'll tell you on the calendar when are the meetings and much more. I will show y'all that after I react to this a little bit. This is a tool. Let me see, make sure I'm saying it right. This is a 4-hour, 25-minute video. So I'm going to react to this video for a little bit. We can all react to it. I would love to hear your opinions and your perspectives. Let's see, how can we make a change? How can we make a stand when it comes to the school system? So let's see what they're talking about. Before I do play this, I have to play my little disclaimer. So I apologize to everybody. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for the purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Fair use allows limited use of copyrighted material without permission from the copyright holder for purposes such as criticism, parody, news reporting, research, and scholarships and teaching. Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this video or any video, including the Writers for Life brings you to Let's Talk About It podcast, do not reflects on the opinions of y'all shorty Racheal and the members of the Writer for Life podcast. Everything we talk about is allegedly and is our opinion. Our videos are not recommended for minors. Everything we talk about and do is meant for educational purposes and also entertainment. Please keep in mind that the majority of our videos are for educational purposes only. This world is crazy. I would say shady. Ironic, right? Nowadays, you can't trust no one. When you do, niggas be having their panties all in a bunch thinking that they own one. Saying the things that you accomplished in life is theirs and that you owe them one. All right, so I just hit play.
And thank you for joining us at this special action meeting of the Board of Education.
So let's find out. Let's figure out what's really going on with the school board meetings. Parents, I suggest for a lot of y'all to, speak up. I'm going to make my stand. So this is why I'm doing these little videos like this. And I do have to pause it constantly. So I apologize if this does irritate a lot of people, but I'm avoiding a strike on my page. So listen, leave y'all opinions. Y'all comments matter to a shorty. It really matters. How can we make a difference when it comes to because it's not the system that's broken. It's the people running the system that's a joke.
The board is holding this special action meeting today to have a progress monitoring session on college and career goals 4 and 5, to hear from public speakers, and to vote on the adoption of the strategic plan that was presented by Superintendent Watlington at last week's action meeting. Immediately following this special action meeting, the board will hold one of 2 annual public hearings devoted entirely to hearing from members of the public. As you know, after many months of hard work and collaboration among advisory groups and the steering committee and the leadership team, Superintendent Watlington publicly presented the vitally important strategic plan to the board and the school district of Philadelphia at last week's action meeting. The board decided to wait 1 week to vote on the strategic plan to give our district constituents and members of the public. Facts, Nate. Facts. More people got to stand up. And that's one of the reasons why I say
that I'm not looking for followers. I'm looking for more leaders to speak up. I'm looking for more leaders to stand up. I'm looking for people that got their cojones in the right place to speak up. So I apologize I said that like that, but listen, somebody got to say it. Somebody's got to say it. You can't be scared of these people when you speak to them. Like, I had to show that to the people when I was speaking to in my son's school. Like, I had to show the principal. He gonna sit here and tell me, oh, with no due disrespect, Miss Santiago, but you're not listening. With no due disrespect, Mr. Dinosaur, we're not in the 30s. You're not listening. There's no cuddling these kids. There's no bribing these kids. There's no buying these kids. What happens when a parent cannot buy a child? And we're talking about teenagers. We're talking about young men from 16 to 17, going to 18. We're talking about young men that in certain situations, spectrum or not, when they have to face a judge, they have to do that time. And not all judges give a if your child is in the spectrum. That's what I would love for a lot of people to understand. So yeah, we need more parents to stand up. Shout out to Nate the Great. Real shit. Shout out to Nate the Great. For those of y'all, yo, go check him out. Like, yo, listen, don't go to Nate's page if you cannot deal with somebody that's raw and uncut. Because y'all see me pause sometimes, y'all see me hold back and stutter, it's because I got to hold back certain times. Listen, Nate is a little different from a shorty. He'll say it right there, raw and uncut. Go check Nate the Great out, yo. Great conversations, great topics, y'all. Blessings, realest blessings. But that's some facts, though, yo. Real shit. We need more leaders. We don't need no followers speaking up. We need leaders, more leaders.
Time to read the plan and provide feedback. We greatly appreciate all those who have taken the time to read this new strategic plan, share their feedback, and engage in the development process. This is an exciting moment for Philadelphia, and I'm looking forward to voting on the adoption of the strategic plan that identifies specific strategies to provide every learner with the opportunity to achieve positive life outcomes and deliver on our goals and guardrails. I would now like to switch gears to another important topic celebrating our learners of the class of 2023 who are about to graduate all across the school district. On behalf of the Board of Education, I would like to give you a huge shout out to the class of 2023.
They just said a huge shout out though.
You will have achieved a monumental milestone by earning your high school diploma, especially in such extraordinary times. We know that the class of 2023 encountered immense challenges along the way, from navigating remote learning early on to contending with the very real safety concerns of today. But you, the class of 2023, developed remarkable strength and focus that empowered you to persevere through challenging times to reach your goal of graduating from high school. As Booker T. Washington once said, success is to be measured not so much by the position that one has reached in life, as by the obstacles which he, she, or they have overcome while trying to succeed.
Yo, he just really paused to fix and correct himself to say he, she, or they. I'm gonna leave what I was about to say for another live. I got something, but it's crazy. I'm gonna leave that for another live.
So congratulations and all the best to the School District of Philadelphia class of 2023 and to the graduates from our charter schools. On behalf of the board, I congratulate you on your perseverance and success and wish you all the best as you pursue your dreams. Finally, I would like to wish our educators, staff, students, families a safe and happy summer. And I hope that you will make time to relax, enjoy the summer, and recharge for the 2023-2024 school year. And finally, I would like to express my deep appreciation to my colleagues on the board who have taken the time to visit several schools this year, both public and charter, and public charters, and who have participated in school district events and celebrations. Recent events includes the schoolyard ribbon cutting ceremony at Joseph Greenberg School on Tuesday, and we look forward to the Joseph Pennell School playground opening and the
Blessings, Angel. Blessings. How you doing?
year and the end of year celebration honoring teachers of the year and seniors of the year, both happening tomorrow. I will begin today's meeting by asking Vice President Fix Lopez to share a general announcement for our guest.
Thank you. Good evening. At every Board of Education action meeting, a representative from the Deaf Hearing Communication Center is here to provide sign language interpretation of the proceedings. The proceedings of this meeting are being streamed live on the internet at www.philasd.org/live.
Yo, if she says copyright, I'm gonna have to write a disclaimer on this one because y'all don't know how many videos I've been searching for that I could react to. And this was the only one that said public. Please don't smack me with a copyright again, man.
It can be seen on PSTV's Comcast Channel 52 and Verizon Fios Channel 20. The proceedings are also being recorded by the School District of Philadelphia. The school district's recordings are protected by the copyright laws of the United States and may not be used in any manner without the express written consent of the school district. By participating in tonight's meeting, members of the public acknowledge that the school district may use its recordings for any purpose without obtaining permission or paying any compensation. Thank you.
Well, just in case, okay? Just in case. Y'all really trying to hit me with that one. Why can't we react? It's the public too. I'm still reacting. So hey, fuck it. Let's take this little risk. Let's do it like this. Yo, they really trying to censor us. I get it. I got a disclaimer for you. I'm about to make a new one just for the school system. I know what to write for y'all because I'm allowed to react. I'm allowed to express how I'm feeling and what I think. And it's crazy because y'all can't even do nothing when I actually record, when I go make the stand. When I go speak up, when I go make that stand, I'm recording. Like, I'm not just going, no, I'm recording. I want to hear what y'all got to say back when I ask y'all questions and what I think should be done when it comes to these cameras in each and every one of these classrooms. Like, parents out there, don't be fooled. I get it. I understand there's cameras in schools, but not where they belong. We need cameras in each and every one of these classrooms, in the lunchrooms, in the gym. Why do these teachers deserve so much privacy with our kids? They don't even know half their background. They say they fully check the backgrounds, but yet we got teachers that are predators, and we got teachers that are bringing in meth, coke. We got teachers that are sitting here acting just as worse as the kids. So all the kids are not just to blame. The influence is, when it comes to the influence in these schools, it's crazy. I'm good. Thank you. I hope you are. I'm good. I'm chilling. Listen, I'm about to fight the school system real hard. I'm going to find a way. Listen, it's not even the system. It's the people. I got to stand up to them. And I hope that more parents that are going through the same thing that I'm going through with my child do the same thing. And not just we don't just got to stand up to the school system. We got to stand up to the healthcare system. This goes for all them parents out there that got kids that got hashtag mental health. If we don't stand up to the healthcare system, guess what? We're going to really be screwed. But you know what? Those that want to take their time and get smacked in the face when they know what's happening and what's going to happen to them, you know what you could do? Like I tell everybody, if you're in bed, stay the fuck asleep. If you're still asleep, stay the fuck in bed. And we still gonna react to your video.
Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Vice President Fix Lopez. Ms. Dutch, please make an announcement about the board's executive session and then call the roll.
Oh, I can't change.
Thank you, Mr. President. The board met in executive session today to discuss privileged, confidential, quasi-judicial charter matters. In addition, I would like to note for the record that the notice of the special meeting was placed in the Philadelphia Inquirer and the Daily News on May 26, 2023, added to the board's website, and posted on the front door of the Education Center. And now for the roll call. Ms. Andrews? Present. Ms. Danzy?
Angel says, blessings, puzzle pieces, blessings. I ain't see you. My bad. My phone is a little small, so I'm looking at the chat on my phone. Now I'm on the StreamYard, so I apologize. Our teacher used to get drunk in the cupboard at the front of the class. I saw a video of a teacher getting arrested in the USA yesterday for it. I was like, that happened on a daily when we was kids. Nah, man, they're not allowed to be drinking in the schools. Not here. You can't get high. You can't get drunk. Shit. Kids have gotten suspended and expelled getting caught with weed. Just weed. I'm blessed with an awesome school system, great healthcare, and amazing government support for my autistic. See, but not all schools are like that, and not so. Yeah, shout out to the school that Puzzle Pieces kid go to. Like, shout out to them though, because we need a lot of more schools to get like this. We need more schools to get with the program, and we need to stand up and request this before the system does it and they do it their way. Real shit. It just happened. We all knew, but he never got into trouble. Yep. That's crazy though. But when they get caught, it's curtains. That's fantastic, Puzzle. Yo, that's crazy. All right, let's play this. But it's facts though, and you know what? Puzzle is right. There is some schools that are real good, like real good. But is one school. Let's make that 3%, right? Out of 97% of the schools that are good. It's only 3% of the schools that you can find that are good because the other ones overpower. And it's not even the schools. I would say it's more the people that work it. But maybe I'm wrong. What's y'all opinions? What y'all think? See? Oh, shout out, Puzzle. Shout out. See what we've been talking about. At Ryder, we fought to make our school needs kids here in my city get their own school and called Spectrum. What city you in, Puzzles? Okay, Puzzle. Puzzle's a fighter. Yes, Puzzle. She's a fighter. Yeah, Puzzle. Hold up. Puzzle's a fighter, just like a sure. We got another warrior in the chat. She's in Cali. She out in Cali. But we got another warrior out in the chat. Shout out to Puzzles, y'all. Shout out to Puzzle. She in Cali. Facts, we gotta fight. But you heard what she said. I'm gonna leave that right there. For those in the back that think is, oh my God, they're just gonna do it. No, man, they're not gonna do what we're asking them unless we stand up and we speak up.
Present.
Ms. Hanson,
Present.
Ms. Lamb,
Ms.
Vice President Fix Lopez, present. Ms. Sally,
I am here.
President Streeter,
Present.
Here.
Ms. Thompson,
Here.
Absent.
Ms. Wilkerson,
Here.
Absent.
Superintendent Dr. Watlington.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dutch. Board members, before we proceed, may I have a motion to approve the minutes of the May 25th action meeting?
So moved.
May I have a second? Thank you, board members. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, the minutes are adopted. Thank you. I'm now going to invite Dr. Watlington to give brief remarks. Dr. Watlington, please begin.
Hi, Dr. Marlington. How you doing? What you gonna say? What's up?
Good afternoon, Mr. President, Vice President Fix Lopez, and board members. I would like to say good evening. Very good to see you this afternoon. I want to take a moment, President Streeter, first to recognize our new employee who started here in the district today, our new Deputy Superintendent for Talent, Strategy, and Culture, who is a former teacher, a trained attorney. He was also the Chief of Human Resources and Talent in several major districts across the country, and is one of the top HR professionals in the country. From Houston and Baltimore and Syracuse, New York, we're pleased to recognize Mr. Jeremy Grant Skinner. Mr. Skinner, if you'll stand to be recognized, we're glad to have you this afternoon. Let's welcome him. Welcome to Philadelphia. President Streeter and board members, last week we had the pleasure of rolling out and announcing Accelerate Philly, the district's 5-year strategic plan for 2023 to 2028. So today, in advance of the vote later this evening, I want to briefly share an overview and highlight some key revised strategic actions, as well as present the high-level communications and community engagement timeline as a follow-up to your feedback last week. Next slide, please. A reminder very quickly that Accelerate Philly will, on the macro level, do 3 very big things. It will prioritize student staff safety, establish meaningful partnerships with our parents, families, and community, or our respective communities here in Philadelphia. And it will focus all of our strategies on research-based, evidence-based key strategic actions that will, if we do this well, improve student achievement in the school district of Philadelphia. Next slide, please. A reminder that we've identified 5 priority areas, and I won't read them to you, but they range from improving safety to partnering with families and communities, accelerate academic achievement, recruiting and retaining the best educators.
So partnering with with families in the community, wouldn't that mean that y'all would listen to what the parents got to say and not do what y'all want to do? Wouldn't that mean that y'all would take into consideration the parents' worries and not ignore them? I'm just trying to figure that one out. When are y'all going to start? Because y'all talking it, but y'all not doing it. Shout out to them schools that are, though. Shout out to them schools that are able to come together and be a community and do what they got to do with the kids. I'm done my tacos. Nate's raccoon wanted to come steal them Jones. You can't eat tacos around Nate raccoon, yo. That nigga will come trying to barge it. But see, I got 2 pit bulls here. My blue nose gonna have that nigga for dinner. Nate, stop sending me your raccoon. I hate rats. And he's part of the rat family. He's just bigger and cuter, but still scary. Ugh. It took us about 5 years of pledging and meetings and fighting reactions. See, that's all I'm asking people to do is just to stand up and speak up. Nate, funny. Oh, here we go. It took us about 5 years of pledging and meetings and fighting and rejections and tears and agents and agony, but we finally got it. It is inside the public school system, but we pick teachers and therapists. That's good. They need to do that here, especially for the parents that cannot afford private schools. They had some sesame chicken with some steamed broccoli and chicken fried. Ooh, rice angel. How does the rice angel rice taste? Or wait, you have regular rice or you had that? Listen, they got that jasmine rice and all that stuff. So they kind of confused me when he put angel there. He got Tupperware plate ready. That nigga ready. He bought his friends too. He had like 3 niggas behind him. It shows what you can achieve. It's not easy. Facts, and that's what I tell everybody. Everybody want to ignore this because it is a sensitive topic for certain parents. But at the end of the day, these are not topics that we could ignore. Oh, where it go? What the fuck? Shit. These are not topics that we can ignore. There's too many things happening in the school system, from teachers doing what they're doing, from kids graping other kids, from teachers graping kids. And all I'm saying is that when it comes to these cameras, we could at least figure out what is going on. These teachers do not deserve as much privacy as they do. And that's why I'm trying to see if I could go through with the reaction with these meetings, because we need to figure out what's going on. Like, what is y'all trying to do? Is y'all doing what y'all say y'all gonna do in front of these parents in the board meetings? Is y'all gonna actually go through with what y'all saying? Facts, we gotta keep fighting, but too many parents are using schools as a babysitter. Too many parents are using schools as a babysitter. And that's why they don't want to fight. And I'm being very honest. Like, I've seen it. Like, I can't wait for school to start till your ass can get it. Man, listen, man. What is you doing? I would understand if you was working or if you was doing this, but you sitting at home collecting a check, or you were sitting at home collecting some child support. And on top of the child support, baby daddy is bringing you more money on top of that because allegedly the child support is not enough. Fuck out my face with that shit. Tired of all the excuses that people are having to not fucking make a stand for our kids. Because we need to make it in both places, the healthcare system and the school system. Both places need
And delivering cost-effective, high-quality operations. Next slide. As we continue working in the spirit of collaboration and transparency, it was important for us to respond to feedback we heard from our key stakeholders. So following your feedback in the last meeting, board members, we updated three strategic actions in the strategic plan. As you can see on the screen, we have bolded the changes to strategic action items, specifically for strategic actions 2.1, 2.3, and 3.9. We recognize the value of explicitly emphasizing how each of these actions will be inclusive of all students and families. Also, to best serve our African American and Latino male students in particular, who consistently, year after year.
And y'all still trying to separate us? Specifically? Y'all still trying to separate the, you know what? That's going to be another live. I would love to hear what Nate in the word got to say. Yo, y'all really trying to like.
After year after year, and the school district of Philadelphia have been our lowest achieving students in reading and math. We need to, and we are committed to recruiting more African American and Latino male teachers and principals and work more collaboratively with community partners.
So just us, we're the ones that seem like we're dumb and we need more support, more help. It's just us, huh? Y'all don't speak about the, African Americans or the Latino men or women, little girls, my bad. Let me rephrase that end up graduating before they 16 or 15, right? They make it to college with a high GPA.
To further support this effort, we updated Strategic Action 4.5 to include the Mayor's Commission on African American Males as a named partner, in addition to the Center for Black Educator Development and other organizations that would have interest in partnering with the district as well. Next slide.
Next slide.
A plan is only as good as the people who believe in it. With that said, communications and community engagement are critical to the success of the strategic plan. The transition process and strategic planning process have been rooted in collaboration from day one. In the first 100 days, we hosted 90 listening and learning sessions and engaged with more than 3,000 community stakeholders. Phase 2 involved, as you recall.
So what are y'all lessons and what are your curriculums? How will they benefit our kids and how are they going to help our kids?
Over 100 members of the community on the transition team. And in phase 3, we engaged a plethora of stakeholders. This authentic stakeholder engagement will continue to be centered around building trust, communication, collaboration, and community participation. Prior to last week's board meeting, we conducted strategic plan briefings with the following stakeholders: board members, the mayor's office, city council, the state delegation, district assistant superintendents, and principals. We also communicated with our families and staff to announce the strategic plan, and it was uploaded on the website and shared across the district's various social media platforms. Additionally, we have conducted media outreach, which has resulted in positive coverage overall in local, regional, and national media coverage. In the upcoming months, we will continue our communications and community engagement efforts by doing the following. We'll host a strategic plan launch celebration pending your approval for district leaders, teachers, and principals. We'll launch a reception for key internal and external stakeholders. We will hold follow-up briefings with business community leaders, faith-based leaders, the nonprofit and philanthropic community, as well as the Divine Nine. We absolutely want to engage our fraternities and sororities in the city and ask them to become equal partners with us in this work. We'll host strategic plan briefings for the superintendent's advisory councils, specifically including students, teachers, principals, and parents and guardians. And we will organize a strategic plan experience to be a part of the Ring the Bell tour to kick off the next school year. These are our immediate tactics to engage multiple stakeholders around the strategic plan. However, we will continue to expand our communication and community engagement as we move into the 2023-24 school year. Next slide, please. I want to say a couple of words about budget and timeline. Section 12.303 of the Home Rule Charter states that the Board of Education must base its budget on estimated receipts and must balance expenditures to those numbers.
So does this mean that our kids are going to get more programs in the schools? They're going to get more books? They're going to be taught what they need to be taught? Are the teachers going to get their pay the way they deserve it? So there'll be no more bullshit, no more, because the teachers are underpaid. So what are y'all going to do now that y'all talking about all these budgets?
Accordingly, our historic practice in the school district of Philadelphia has been to propose a budget that fits anticipated revenues rather than proposing wish list budgets. Therefore, in year one, we will launch key strategic actions within the fiscal year 24 budget that the Board of Education approved on May 25. These key strategic actions include, but are certainly not limited to, implementation of new core instructional resources, installation of new cameras, launch of a two-way communication.
Where y'all putting these cameras at? Are all the classrooms are going to have it? Is the lunchroom going to have cameras? Is they going to have cameras in these gyms? Because like I said earlier, when we see these videos surface that we see on the news that we watch people react on, those videos, we're only able to see them because a student pulls out their cell phone and actually records that and puts it on social media, or they're live on their phone, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, whether it's YouTube. It doesn't matter where they're at, but they're on a social media platform going live, or they're recording on just a regular camera. It's to the point where I've heard so many parents say, I'm putting a recording. And you know what's crazy? A lot of parents did that back then. Put a camera, a little spy, them little spy cameras that's you could place somewhere in the kid's body, whether it's from audio or recording. Like, parents want to know what the fuck is going on in these classrooms, because the problems are not just happening on high schools no more. It's not no more in middle schools. Now it's all the way down to elementary school. Now we're having problems with 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds. Now we're having molestations, rapings, more bullying, more bullshit. From student to student, from staff to student, and student to staff. This is like getting out of pocket. This is getting out of hand. And if us as parents don't get up and do something and figure a way how to help our kids, we're going to lose them. Each and every one of them. Listen, screw the adults that want to do whatever they want to do. But at the end of the day, there's a way we can reach these kids. And not by bribing them like these fucking schools want you to think. It's not by buying them like these schools. No, you don't buy a child. You can't keep buying these kids, because then all they're going to think about is money and more ways on how to make money. And they're going to fuck up and do it the wrong way. Especially when they got all that influence in their head. You should do this, you should do that. You would think that family would help family. But no, family is what you make of it. Those that are right there, see, like Nate the Great, he'll pull somebody's child's ear that he knows, like, yo, what the fuck is you doing here? What is wrong with you? Why is you doing that? And take them right there. That's a village. That's a village. He's part of a village. Motherfuckers out here need to be doing some more of that. Instead of, oh yeah, come on, sit right next to me, little shorty. Come on, let's smoke this Dutch and talk. You fucking serious? Man, fuck out my face with that shit. I'm seeing too much of that shit. Too many people, too many adults trying to be friends with their kids. See, too many parents got the wrong concept of being a friend and a parent to your child. You're supposed to be a parent first and a friend second. And the concept of being a friend to your kid is for you to sit here and listen to them and give them advice. Not sit here and chill with them and get high with them. Not chill here with them and show them strippers on the TV. Let's make it make sense. And for y'all women twerking and showing your daughter how to strip, that's not teaching them. So get your priorities straight. That's why we're creating too many menaces to society. These menaces to societies, we're creating them. Us listening to the wrong motherfuckers. Let's keep listening to what he got to say real quick while I answer this door.
System and the relaunch of our 9th grade on-track work, such that we can continue to lower our dropout rate. Going forward, in years 2 through 5, we will align strategic actions to the budget, which the Board of Education approves annually. If the district receives additional resources, we can have a more robust or deeper implementation of the strategic actions. Each year, I will advocate for the Cadillac version of investment because our children deserve it, but we'll build a plan around our actual receipted budgets. This will require us to stop funding things that are not working, reallocate resources where appropriate, and advocate, rightfully so, for additional resources where the data shows a need. An example of this, a clear example of this, would include schools on a year-round calendar, where the available funds will determine the size of the pilots. I propose that we implement a year-round calendar in up to 10 schools. If we have budgets annually that only facilitate 5 or 4 or 2, we will implement what we have the budget to implement. This month, we will clearly map out which strategic actions will be launched in the 2023-24 school year and identify the projected costs for all of those actions. We will present additional detailed information at the June 29th board meeting. This concludes my presentation, President Streeter, and we certainly look forward to the board's taking action on this very important document and plan, Accelerate Philly. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Watlington. Board members, before we will begin with your comments or questions, as a reminder, each board member will have 2 minutes for comments or questions. If you have more than one question, please remember to ask them all at one time during your 2 minutes. The district will then have 2 full minutes to respond to all your questions. I'm going to begin by calling on each board member individually. After the first round of questions, I will look for hands raised to determine if an additional round of questions is needed. Board Member Thompson.
Thank you, Board President Streeter. In the list, I did not see the Mayor's Commission on People with Disabilities. They represent all of the 13 disabilities as described in IDEA and Chapter 14, nor did I see any plans to communicate to the advocacy agencies that
why? Oh, damn. See, I was gonna ask that question. What is y'all plan with the kids with disability? What are y'all gonna do? Why don't y'all make that one of y'all priorities too? But for some reason, hashtag mental health, hashtag disability is not one of y'all priorities when they make a majority of these schools too. They divide it. These schools are divided between kids that have no hashtag mental health with kids that have hashtag mental health. And then the other portion of it is kids that have a disability. Oh, we met Jackass. Wait. Oh, we met Jackass like then that promised a lot but never delivered. And it's why we had to go on fighting. That's why I'm reacting to these videos, so I can see what a lot of parents talk, the ones that do go on. And, you know, I'm going to go speaking on the camera, speaking on the bullying and much more like I did on the small communities. These fucking dogs is about to break my soul. Go that way. So that's going to be my priority, getting these cameras in each one of these classrooms. I get what they want to do, but what they want to do isn't going to benefit our kids. It is not going to benefit the kids in the urban community. I want everybody to understand that what they plan on doing with these cameras, allegedly, it's not going to benefit our kids in the urban community. We need to stand up and speak.
You got motherfuckers talking about that they want to make a change, they want to make a difference, but still stuck in the same phase. You got motherfuckers talking about that they want to chase a bag, but stay at home and nag. Then when you ask them what they need, they say less talking, more opinions, no prayers with division. You ask me, y'all need to focus more on revision, rely less on television. How you want a future, you have no vision. This world is just like fiction. What we need is more talking, less opinions, more prayers with no division. Before you come up with a conclusion, giving people false illusions, pick up a book, do your research, learn your history before you end up in a ditch making history. Division and religion isn't working. The only way to show God our faith and love is through our actions. Our convictions is the only thing that really unite us. One God, one nation, different beliefs. There's words that can't fly with the wind. There's insults that are not violent. Meanwhile, while you're home to them, they're killing you on the inside. If I was to tell you that I didn't hurt, I would be lying. Would you believe me if I was to tell you that there's truths that lie, especially when they're telling you that they're indifferent? Getting shoved to the side because you're different. There's a hug out there someone didn't receive today. Probably because of what was said about them yesterday. Probably because of the way they was dressed today. Not realizing that the one that they hate could be the one that saves their day. But you know what? Thanks to them, it's another day in history where you get to flip the pages to your book and speak your story. And Lord, it's unholy. But you know what hurts the most? As I walk down the street and I see how easily we're divided. When we all should be united. One body, one mind, one soul, a million talents. Lord, without you, we're all divided. Forgive them, Lord, for they don't know any better. They don't know that there's someone out there that loves them.
And that's some facts. We need to make a stand.
Advocate on behalf of children with disabilities, such as the Arc of Philadelphia, the Peel Center, UNE, Disability Rights Network, Ed Law Center. I didn't see them on the list.
So this woman right here seems like she cares. So I gotta give it to her. Shout out to Ms. Thompson. So Ms. Thompson seems like, yo, she's asking the right question right there.
So just wondering if they're going to be added.
Sir, Board Member Thompson, thank you for that question. We will absolutely add the Mayor's Commission on Individuals with Disabilities. And we're happy to work with any other partners who want to, but we'll specifically name the Mayor's Commission on Disabilities since we've named the Mayor's Commission on African American males. And Chief Alexandra Coppage, our Chief of Communications, is prepared to make sure that we have continued discussions with all the other groups that you referenced. We look forward to doing that. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Angel.
Board Member Wilkerson,
She asked a great question.
Board Member Sally.
Yes, Dr. Watlington, I'd like to say thank you for taking a few minutes to have part of the discussion this afternoon around the communications part and the community engagement, because it's one thing to have a plan, right? And that's a piece of, well, whatever you call it when it's electronic, right? That's a file or a piece of paper. And even it's philosophical until you engage the people, right? And you're very intentional around how you implement. So I want to say thank you for including that part. I also want to just make a comment that says, and you alluded to it here, that I've described the current state of the school district as a train being off the track. Therefore, what this plan represents really is
the school district is all over the place. It doesn't matter where you live at. They all over the place. Like, they need to get their shit together. The people running the system is messing up heavy as hell.
Are beginning to think about how to hoist, right, the train back up on the track, right? It is very much a plan that begins in restoration. And you described very well kind of how the constraint of budget really defines how we implement it. So on one hand, we have a well thought out, right, a document that lays out, here's what we need to do, right, to restore the district. But then we have the reality of financial constraints, and I'm sure other resource constraints. So what I'm looking forward to you also coming back with and establishing some cadence and some rhythm around how do we really implement this, right? And what that implementation looks like. But I think I just want to go on record as saying having a written plan like this is major. We've got to make sure it's just not philosophical. And whatever the mechanics is for how do we assess our current state and how do we methodically drive the implementation so that it's sustainable, I think that is a very important set of discussions that will take us several months to figure out how to get our arms around. But I appreciate you approaching the beginning of that conversation. Thank you.
She's answer her question.
No, kind of on that same line, and I was just curious, Dr. Wellington, because you're right. We don't know from one time to the next what we're going to get or whether we're going to get what they initially say we're going to get. But with that in mind, I imagine, are you already kind of thinking of if we cannot get the resources we need, these are the arenas where I'm going to have to try to find another tactic, or I'm going to have to modify to some degree.
But why can't y'all get the resources that y'all need for these schools if all of our hard-earned money goes out to y'all? The taxes that we pay allegedly goes to these schools. Or was Michael Jordan right when he came out on one of them interviews and said that we're the idiots in the urban community that pay all his money for his Jordans, and guess what he puts it into? The prisons. The same prisons that each and every one of our kids is going into, in and out of, until they make it to a certain age. And all they know is what? The prison life. But maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm wrong expressing what I'm thinking.
We are not be able to do. So are you sort of also thinking ahead that if so, then what?
Oh shit!
I see you shaking your head.
Oh yeah, yes, Board Member Dancer. I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. I know you were finished yet. I'm so used to you sitting right here, and I can look at you, and I miss doing that, as you can imagine. Yes, absolutely.
It's 6 a.m. in the USA. Oh shit! Nate about to send his raccoon over to Angel's house. Angel, you better have that breakfast ready. That raccoon gonna barge in. You got a dog, don't you? Poor little raccoon. I can't. I'm dead. Yo, that little raccoon can come over with his little plate, his little champagne glass. Like, yo, listen, I want that breakfast. You gonna give me them bubbles too? Bring them bubbles over here. Gonna be one hell of a drunk raccoon. Yo, you gotta love Angel. Angel, we love you.
We will advocate for the resources that our students need. We know that since the district has been historically underfunded, we're fully prepared to work within the annual budgets that are approved.
That's a great question, right? A real great question. How many young offenders have learning difficulties and it ended them in prison? Facts. How many of them can't read or write and their only options is to be hustling? But you know what? They don't want to talk about that. That's a fact. Angel just said, Angel just actually, I'm about to search that up. How many young offenders have learning difficulties? I'm about to search that up. And you know what's crazy? R. Kelly is somebody's behind bars that also has difficulties. He's dyslexic, doesn't know how to read or write. Crazy as shit, right?
Each year in accordance with the home rule charter guidance. But we'll advocate for the resources, and we will be prepared to trim where we need to make sure that we don't exceed the annual budget that the board approves.
Thank you.
Board Member Lamb.
Thank you, Dr. Watlington, for all the hard work that went into this plan, the thoughtfulness, the engagement, the clarity with laying out the communications over the next couple of months. And I especially appreciate you taking to heart some of the comments that were made last meeting.
Nate right here is speaking facts, because it's crazy that if you speak to a lot of these kids out here, a lot of them don't know how to really write. They write like third graders. So shout out to the ones, the parents that are out there that are teaching their kids outside from the school, because a lot of these kids admit to their parents being the ones that taught them how to write. They didn't learn it from the school. A lot of these kids ain't learn how to read from these schools. Shout out to the schools that are doing their jobs. Shout out, because I'm not going to sit here and say all schools are fucked up. All schools are not fucked up. It's the people in the damn schools. It's the people running the system. But Nate is correct, though. As parents, we also have to re-educate our kids. Yo, have y'all seen the show called Black Mirror on Netflix? There's an episode on there called Joan is Awful, right? And on one part of this episode, right? I mean, one part of this episode, is Salma Hayek that plays it, right? And she's talking to this lawyer, and she's telling the lawyer, like, yo, you screwed me, you fucked me over because you're my lawyer. That's why I'm paying you, because I'm dyslexic. I can't read, I can't write. That, and it's crazy because it's true. Like, the lawyer should have peeped the loopholes in this contract that he was signing for Salma Hayek. And what he ended up doing was screwing her over by accepting an agreement and not going over by it with her. And she trusted him. That's the crazy part. But this episode, it involves, what's crazy on this episode, it also speaks on how the government, because this episode speaks on, like, this girl, Joanne, she wakes up one morning, I guess she subscribed to something called stream something. And it's kind of like basically Netflix, right? It's our Netflix right here in our world. I'm gonna say it like this. But basically, the lawyer was explaining on one of the parts, right? She didn't read the contract all the way, nor Joanne, nor Salma Hayek, right? So Salma Hayek signed her image over to the people. Then people used her image for whatever they wanted, but these people, they were using her image to imitate this woman's life. Basically, this woman signed this contract with Netflix, stream whatever it is on the show, and she didn't read the whole contract. Now, they were hearing her conversations, reading her text messages with her spouse, her little iPhone, and basically her whole life was being played on Netflix. And they was just, the way they were replaying her life is fucked up. They made her seem like this horrible, screwed up person. And she tried to sue Netflix. She tried to do everything. And she could not get out the contract because she signed it. But what's crazy is how these people sat here and played her life for people to see without them actually seeing it, just through all her conversations with people, through conversations on the phone, by putting her phone down and just speaking to her boyfriend, to her ex-boyfriend, speaking to her boss. They actually played her whole life by hearing her conversations. And she couldn't get out of this because she signed a contract. She did not read. See, this is why we need to teach our kids how to read. So Nate the Great is 100% correct on this. We don't learn from R. Kelly and other people that are locked up, that are celebrities, that are dyslexic. Y'all don't even know that half these little celebrities growing up have problems. Half of these Disney babies that are growing up, that were in and out of jail, are in the spectrum. Go do your research. Don't just go by me. Go do your research. Let's leave it at that and let's get back at this. Real shit. Go do your research. Y'all, I bet y'all didn't even know that. What's her name? I forgot her name. When I remember her name, I'll tell you. Hold on.
And incorporating that into some of the revised language in specific strategic actions. I think what I've been, one thing that I struggle with is that in thinking about the number of listening and learning tours that you've done.
Oh, wow, Angel. I didn't know that. Damn. That's crazy. See, that's why we really gotta start talking to our kids.
In your tenure as superintendent, I realized that I don't actually know how many of them might have been done in a language other than English. I don't know how many of them were meaningfully translated, and where community members who may not have access to the types of public engagement that is more typical, whether they were actively invited in as opposed to notified. And I think that in continuing to implement the plan, continuing to communicate about the plan, it will become important that the advisory groups that that you will rely on to give you information about how the plan is going and to give feedback along the way, that those be taken as opportunities to expand how people engage, who gets to engage, what they feel comfortable and open sharing during those engagement opportunities, and to continually keep in mind that none of us, not one single individual of us, can know the lived experience of another person. And so how do we invite that perspective?
Thank you, Board Member Lamb. On page 4 of the strategic plan, we note that there are 5 questions that will guide all of our work in the strategic plan. As we do more detailed sub-work plans, as we put together project teams on some of the areas, and as we just start moving on July 1 with some of the strategies. Those 5 questions are: number 1, are all the stakeholder groups affected by this plan and the work represented at the table? I'll be the first one to say we've got a lot more work to do in that regard. Second question is, question number 2, how will the work of this plan affect each group? Number 3, how will the work of this plan be perceived by each group? When we think about how diverse this city is in terms of race, ethnicity, in terms of gender, in terms of what people describe as their sexual orientation, in terms of the 170 plus languages are spoken, we are committed to having a big tent and to doing our very best to represent all of Philadelphia in this plan and to engage with all of Philadelphia. And I'll be the first to say we've got a lot more work to do, notwithstanding what we've done so far. Question 4 is, how does the work of this plan impact existing disparities? And then number 5, based on the answers to the first 4 questions, what do we need to continue to do differently? And so we know that one of the things we need to do differently is to find different ways to engage with all of our communities, whether it's around individuals who speak different languages, or if it's around families that for whatever reason are just disconnected from the school district. We know that we have to think about how we staff the district at the district office as well. Thank you.
Vice President Fix Lopez.
Thank you. I just want to echo the support for your comments and kind of take that a little bit further. First and foremost, by saying thank you for looking at the revised strategic actions. You definitely heard some of the concerns that were raised last week and tried to intentionally work those in. I do have similar concerns of just, and there's a body of research around this, but in and of itself, the use of the term multilingualism and the commitment to multilingualism is insufficient. It's the actions that go along with it. And so I do think that there are some clear actions that you have here that are revisions. I am concerned when we think about, and actually you made me think a lot with your comments at last week's meeting, that it's going beyond just that ESL instruction, right? It's going beyond just the translations of things. And it's actually talking about the fostering of the culture and the heritage language, right, of these individual students and their families and what they represent. And so when I look at some of the strategic actions, you do have things in priorities 3.8, 3.10. You talk about the training of staffing at one point. You talk about offering a variety of languages, but it's actually 3.10 that just recently caught my attention again. So 3.10 says that it calls for all high schools to, quote, offer at least 2 years of a foreign language. We would say world language typically, in addition to Spanish and French, languages that many district students already speak as their native language. And what this doesn't use is the term heritage language, right? And it doesn't acknowledge that anywhere in this plan. And so I'm almost concerned by us being so narrow in this that we're losing an entire body of work and in reality, an entire identity of our students. We know, and I'm bringing this up at this moment because we know that the strategic plan, as you have talked about, is where we are focusing our energy and our dollars and our policies for the next 5 years. And I just am concerned that if it's not explicit, then it doesn't get included. And so I think about staff too. And if you would even go and say, when we have 17.5% of students, right, that identify as ESL, we know that heritage language learners make that even greater population. I'm just concerned in the staffing piece, if we even say to most teachers or administrators, how do you support the heritage language learning and the cultural pieces in your classroom? I don't believe many of them even know what that definition of that word is. Can you talk a little bit?
Is she talking about the staff or the students? Because I think a lot of kids know what their heritage is. Y'all are the ones confusing them with these new agendas and this new crap and this new shit that y'all coming up with, including Levitica.
How you might foster that in the culture of the school district?
Yes, I think that we'll need to really dig into that whole point. I think we need to take a high level look at how the research literature and our understanding of it has changed over time. In the 1980s, for example, there was this big push for what we call multicultural education. You don't hear that term as much in the research anymore because we moved from just having identity month recognitions or this group recognitions or celebrating cultures and respecting cultures to going a little deeper and to move into issues related more around equity. I think.
So y'all don't respect cultures no more? Is that what y'all saying? I don't know. I'm confused on what you're trying to say, sir.
That as you're helping us to understand, and we'll have to do a lot of work across the district, there's this growing body of understanding that it's something about identity and culture and how we affirm it, and not just offer French, Spanish, maybe 2 more languages. But I understand and hear you loud and clear. I think that we're committed to putting those issues on the table and become a learning community and learning culture, and we aspire to get better at that.
Thank you.
So that means taking away teaching Spanish, French, and all that. What are y'all going to replace? What other language are we going to learn? This man just confused the crap out of me. Because from what I understood, he's trying to say, hold the fuck up. Should be respect around the board. No agenda pushing. Facts. Like, either I'm crazy or I know I'm not tripping. This nigga said they don't respect cultures no more. But he said it in a way that was so slick.
Board Member Hinton.
One is a comment, one is a question. In line with communities that are not English speakers, I certainly represent one of those communities. And the concern that I have is with the community I represent, as well as communities who are dealing with a multiplicity of challenges, who may not see this as necessarily a high priority on their list. To think about, along with the chiefs, how do we get that out to them in a way, whether it's school level, however it's done, so that they understand how important this is and that they can weigh in. And I know you guys have done a lot of things, so I'm hoping that we can see more involvement from those communities. My second one that's a comment. The second one was a question. The aligning of the budget to the strategic plan. I know that we're working on doing that. How will we be? And you may not have an answer today, but I'm just trying to figure out how we will know whether or not a strategy is working or not, right? How will we be monitoring progress I know that there'll be a public process, but just trying to make sure that we're all aligned. And if in fact we have to turn a dime, if in fact a strategy has to be modified, that it's clear to all of us, not only that that has to be done, but why and what it is. But I know that you've probably given some thought about how we're going to be monitoring or progress monitoring, so to speak, in terms of the implementation strategy. And I know that's very fluid.
I'll just simply say, hear you loud and clear. We will certainly be monitoring and we'll share more information about what that looks like.
That's what it seems like they care more about, is that budgeting. Like, they don't care about what the kids really need. I thought I was the only one tripping. Hold up, let me put up Puzzle's comment because I was looking at it through the phone. Hold up. I'm on StreamYard now. Okay, so I'm not feeling alone on that question.
Not limited to just the annual state of schools address where we report on the full plan. There'll be touch points throughout the year, similar to your goals and guardrails monitoring, progress monitoring.
Andrew.
No comment, no questions.
Two questions. Well, one, you decided when you got here that we should rethink how we do the facilities plan, right? Instead of doing what we've done in the past, which hasn't led much success, starting with the buildings, I think you're trying to do it a little different, starting with what we need to educate children first, and then doing all of the other work that needs to be done as well. Could you talk to how this strategic plan fits right into some information that you will need in order to help better move forward the facilities process?
Yes, President Streeter, the intent is to say these are the things we want to do based on 50 years of research to improve academic outcomes for students. And it absolutely influences where we want to go with our facilities plan project team being led by Colonel Oz Hill. We want, in this strategic plan, we go down the road of setting baseline standards for what all schools will have in terms of classroom laboratories, course access to include science laboratories, et cetera, that has impacts on the facilities. In addition to that, this plan lays out a way to have more equitable kind of opportunities throughout schools. 3, it commits to engaging internal and external community members around the facilities plan. Probably the most important thing I would say to your point is we won't get 6 people, 10 people together in the district, go off in a club, in a room, develop a plan, and then go to the community and say, what do you?
This nigga was about to say a club, then said a room. But yo, okay, so they're trying to work the budgets so they could have the science rooms, the computer rooms, and all that stuff. They're trying to find a budget to have all these programs for the kids, but they're taking out what the kids need to be taught. That's what's not making sense. Y'all taking out the important curriculums to add the curriculums that are not needed. How is it that y'all don't have enough budget? What is y'all doing with the tax money?
You think we want to do this work together with people in the community, with representatives of the community, other people who are stakeholders who are represented, so that the funders, both at the local and state level, are part of the conversation from the very front. So it's not, what are you guys going to do? It's, what are we going to do together to make sure that the facilities match up to the high aspirations of improved achievement under the strategic plan.
Board members, any other questions? Board member Sally.
Okay, Dr. Watlington, now I'm going to shift gears some, okay? So as encouraged as I am by the plan, I'm equally as uncomfortable. And I'm uncomfortable, why? Because 84% of the kids, all right, as of June of 2022, couldn't do math on grade level. 70% couldn't read on grade level for 10 consecutive years.
Those are high numbers of kids that cannot do math. High numbers. Those are big percentages of kids that cannot do math.
Right. And so as we think about the plan and think about the realistic constraints, either a no, we can't do it, or a wait, or we tried, will be ultimately unacceptable. Right. In terms of, we know, we're saying this is the plan, we know what to do. But if we can't do it, right, or we're saying no to it for some reason based on the constraints. So what I'm wondering is, how will you begin to think about how we push past the constraints, right? Where we start with a blank sheet of paper. How do we get creative? How do you get creative? How do we line up behind you with that creativity to think beyond the constraints? because a no long term or we try, but we couldn't get it done, I think is unacceptable for the children and the families. So how are you planning to push on the constraints? And what about the Band-Aid, if you will? You said that the high dosage tutoring, did I say it right? Right? Is
Yes.
important. And I think you've even talked about, which classrooms, if you had to prioritize, right? If you look at a number of parameters around the classroom. So how will you push on the constraints, and what will you do to engage a Band-Aid until we can implement all of the required things so that there's, every classroom has what it needs for the students to be successful?
Great
The first thing I would do is I would level set with the Board of Education. I strongly believe that there's no quick silver bullet. We didn't get in this off-track status overnight. This off-track train won't get righted overnight. I would say that first. I do think that when I say we have 50 years of research, I know that from my own career path and experience and success at improving outcomes for students over 30
Y'all got 50 years of research or 50 years worth of agendas?
years. And a lot of it comes down to rolling up our sleeves, working hard, and then it comes down to execution, and toward that end, on the execution end, I'm still working through and thinking through how to staff up a strategic planning and project management office in the district. Right now, we have a deputy chief of strategic planning and 2 program administrators. I'm thinking about how we really staff up a lean, mean, robust strategic planning and project and performance management office that serves equally well as what you would find in the private sector. I think I shared with the board earlier that one of the strategies that we were thinking about is recruiting an executive on loan who has that expertise, who might be able to help us look at some things different.
You're still not answering her question. You're just still talking about money and making more space and doing this. We want to know about the curriculums and what y'all going to do. What type of Band-Aid you're going to put on until y'all able to fix this whole situation. We don't give a crap about what else y'all want to build.
In addition to that, I think resources will be key to that hard work and execution. Human resources people. I can't fix the fact that there's a 66% decline in people choosing to teach in Philadelphia. Become teachers in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, but we certainly can have some creative, innovative ways about going after the talent and depth.
Well, y'all could start off by paying these teachers more like they deserve, a better pay. Second, more books, more pencils, more. Y'all need a lot of more stuff in these schools, more supplies. Where that's to the point that these teachers don't got to take so much out of pocket. Because that's one thing that I could sit here and say, that a lot of these teachers, a lot of the good teachers, I'm not even talking about the fucking idiots. I'm sorry. I was about to go in on the Rachel, hold back real quick. Hold. You can't curse. All right. There's a lot of good teachers out there. We're not talking about them teachers that don't care about our students. We're talking about the teachers that are they actually go broke every week because they're actually buying supplies for their classrooms, which the schools should already have ready for them. Once again, where's all the tax money that's going to these schools going to in reality? Once again.
Delaware, Pennsylvania, and other places right here in Philly. And in terms of the budget, myself, board members, and others can line up as we launch the plan to ask for the resources where we demonstrate that we're being good stewards of the resources and where we show we're making incremental or some progress.
Thank you. I have a comment question. I think our role here is to educate children, but also so they can have skills that are career ready, dream ready.
Facts. So what is the Board of Education going to do about that? What are we going to do to help better our kids' future by educating them and not putting stupid ideas in their heads? What are we going to do? I think it's time for more parents to speak up on this because I'm starting to see, okay, shout out Ms. April Showers. I see what you're saying. Not enough parents are speaking up on these meetings. I get it.
I think our role is to give students the tools to follow their dreams, and an experience, though important, is not enough, right? Can you just talk a little bit about how the strategic plan tries to do both of those things, right? improve the student experience, but give students the tools they need to be like me, a person who didn't go straight to college successfully, worked in restaurants, bartended, bus tables, but was able to use the requisite skill set, social skills, math skills, English, like all the skills necessary to matriculate up. And then when I decided to have a second career in the law, I was able to use those same skills, all of the holistic skills. How does the strategic plan kind of get us on that path, and tell us why it's important to have more than just an experience, which is very important, but also make sure we give our students the tools they need to be successful.
Absolutely, President Streeter. Certainly, we want to improve the bottom line relative to
And that's what we need, Puzzle. We need more teachers that care about our kids' education and doesn't care about just going in there and looking at their phone all day and, bringing their problems into the school, knowing that they're going to lower themselves to the status of a child's mentality and behave just like them. Because that's what's happening. A lot of these teachers are bringing their personal issues, their personal problems to work. A lot of these teachers still don't know how to separate the both. And these kids end up lashing with them because a lot of these teachers don't understand that these kids also have personal problems they're trying to deal with. It's a conversation that I have a lot with a lot of parents. And I let them know, like, listen, you got your world, right? You're in your own world. You're trying to help your child, yes. But you also got to realize that your child has a life outside of your life. Because when they're outside in these streets with their friends, that's their life. We don't actually see everything that goes on. When they're in school, they're going through things too. That's part of their life. It's part of us being there for them, supporting them, helping them, guiding them to the right path. We're not supposed to do their life for them. We're supposed to guide them. That's our job. Our job is to guide, protect, and teach them until they get to that age where they could do it all on their own. Not sit here and be friends with them, getting high every weekend and fucking letting them do whatever the hell they want to do. You're the parent. They're the child. What you say goes. Your child shouldn't be overrunning you. You should be sitting here being able to teach your child what they need to learn. Regardless of the influence outside, we have to be parents. But the law ties a lot of us as parents. Our hands are tied because of the laws that are being put, the bills that are being passed. And that's because of the people we put into office. Get mad at me all y'all want. I have no president till we have a president that's for us, the people. But while Trump was in office, we had services for the elderly. We had services for the kids that were in the spectrum, for people that had hashtag mental health, or they were young or they were old. We had them services. Soon as Biden got into office, all this went haywire, including the shit with the schools. It got worse. It got worse. But you know what? Go ahead, call me crazy. Tell me I'm tripping. But everything I've said, every time I've said something, it has, like, we need to stand up. It's a game. I'm gonna play like 20 more minutes of this, and then I'm gonna end the live. I want to thank everybody that is showing a shorty support. I'm gonna do part 2 to this. I'm not gonna schedule it. I'm just gonna put it on. So make sure y'all subbed in, because I'm gonna just hop on and do it, because I do got a lot on my plate right now. But I want to get on here to bring awareness, and it also helps me when it comes to coming out here, walking on these streets, and doing what I gotta do when it comes to helping the youth and much more. These videos do help, because when I tell y'all that the majority of my audience is between the ages of 16 and their 30s. And yes, they do watch. The majority of them 16 and their 30s. That's crazy as shit, but yes. So I want the kids to also be a part of this. We need to hear what they think and how they feel, not just us parents. So all of our opinions, what we think, how we feel about everything that's going on, all that matters. And we need to speak up.
reading and math improvement as measured by whatever tools we use in the Commonwealth. But we also know that we have to really help our young people to know that we really do believe in this vision, that we want to prepare our young people for any career or profession that they can imagine. And to do that, we have to provide access.
How do y'all prepare them if these kids can't learn math? Half of them don't know how to give a signature. They can't even sign a check if they could. I mean, if they wanted to.
We have to first make sure they get these core skills. Well, maybe I won't even rank them. One of the things we need to do is make sure that the core skills that our kids need, they have them so that they're shovel ready for career or work, whether they go right into the workforce to a 2-year or 4-year college. We also, in this plan, want to provide access to children. For example, I'll give one example. In the criteria-based schools, we are going to do an annual audit. In fact, when we complete this year's annual audit by the end of June, we will have some specific changes that we're going to suggest for next year, because we don't want to leave it to choice where the kids actually get to be exposed to all the options out there. We're going to hardwire the strategy that we make sure that every student knows what options are available, so that if I don't think of myself as a person who...
I understood what you was trying to say, Puzzle. I understood. Trust me, I understood.
Who might can benefit from a certain CTE program or an advanced academy, it doesn't matter, because somebody makes sure that I have access to consider that as an option. So I think we have to make sure to put things really front and center in front of our young people in order for them to really be able to pursue any career that they can imagine. And they have to have access and opportunities in order to imagine those opportunities.
Board Member Lamb.
So I want to jump on that conversation because I find it so interesting. In a way, we need to develop students who have this sense of identity, who they are, what they believe in, what matters to them, as well as...
Wait, did she just say develop students? Hold up. Let me listen to what she got to say. Hold 10 seconds back, because develop children?
Develop students who have... on that conversation because I find it so interesting. In a way, we need to develop students who have this sense of identity, who they are, what they believe in, what matters to them, as well as the belief and the skills and tools and knowledge that they have in order to combine them ultimately to follow their career paths. And I just wanted to put that somewhere where I don't lose it, because I think that that's really important. But I did want to ask you a question in terms of implementing the plan. I was curious from your perspective, what the biggest and hardest part of implementing this plan you think will be? What is the area or areas that will take the biggest shifts in mindset or behavior or the ways in which people currently work or understand things? What do you see as some of the big challenge areas, and what support can we as a board provide in tackling those larger challenge areas?
Thank you, Board Member Lamb. First, I'll say I hear you again loud and clear. Identity matters, and it's important to affirm our collective or individual or cultural identities as we go about doing this work. I think your question was, what will be the big...
You said earlier y'all don't respect culture, so identity matters, but culture doesn't get respected. Gotcha.
Biggest challenges in terms of implementing this plan? I actually think that I would say there are three in no priority order. Certainly, don't take my word for it. Take Judge Jubileer's word for it. We're fighting a history of underfunding, and I sometimes...
This fucks me up in the head. Y'all fighting a history of underfunding, but y'all trying to build more things instead of getting more curriculums in, getting more books in, paying the teachers better. But y'all find a way to build more things. What is y'all building more things for when y'all are underfunded? Come on, guys. Let's make this make sense, please. Could somebody answer my question?
They don't talk about us, only when there's a crime. Would you believe me if I was to tell you that in this world, with or without money, we're all rich, even the poor? The problem is those that say that I'm reaching out to give a hand, and stay they leeching hands is itching, ready to see you listen. Well, thinking what to write, something inside me told me I can freestyle or I can rap. I can go with a rhythm that can make you dance. Tell you what I see on a daily, tell you everything's okay just to avoid dilemma. Or I can simply bring you something positive to the table and warn you of the ongoing problems that we're having. Instead, I have to reach out to my conscience once again as I watch the crime and the violence rise and the kids lose their innocence. Now the concept of forming a home day by day loses its essence. They don't want to hear that. I can't keep my arms crossed in front of the system. If I don't do something, I'm also part of the problem. As guilty as the one that pulls the trigger, like the person in the crowd that hits the record button on their phone to expose a lie instead of the truth for clout. They need 1,000 views. The government doesn't have a solution. The problem started when we took God out the equation. The problem ain't us celebrating. The problem is that we're a nation divided when we should be a nation united and pray. That's how we live today. When problems occur, we come up with a meaning. Laugh a little, move on with no care in the world, as if it ain't even a thing in this world. If it's like this today, I don't want to see the future. Because nowadays, they'll make a meme out of a person that can't even see the day of light no more. What makes you think they care? They can't even break bread at the table. I don't know how you want to be rappers and lyricists can go on with life, living on an illusion of nothing good to write. Talking about killing someone, selling drugs with pride, until the scripts are flipped and it's someone you love dies. Right? This ain't solved by activating the National Guards and going behind bars. This is deep. This is me and you. And they say as time pass by, we'll heal everything. Shit, you know these scars? I seen time flash by and everything. Leaving me on standby, ready to kill everything. Alone in the mirror, looking at myself, say, girl, you're everything. You don't need for anything, shorty. So unless you walk a mile in my shoes, don't say anything. Just take a minute and listen so you can consume everything. Me and you are not the same, so make sure you look both ways when you cross me, and that's on everything.
And that's a fact, yo. Like, shit do be crazy, like they said. And Puzzle, you're always welcome. You're more than welcome to come up and, give your perspective, speak your mind, say what you want to say. Like, there's no judging here. I'm only here to bring awareness. I'm only here to bring the news and to try to see if we could try to bring solutions when it comes to these schools, our communities, and much more. I've made my stand. Like, I've really made my stand. I didn't win the war. I said that straight from the gate. I've been battling the system for the past 4.5 years, going on 5 already. Not just them, but the healthcare system. Now it's time for me to speak up and say all this in a bigger crowd. I just finally got my voice heard because in the beginning, everybody was giving me the go around. So I decided to go smaller in the hopes that maybe I can get more people to stand up for me to speak up on these meetings right here, these board meetings and stuff. But I haven't seen it yet. So that's why I say, once again, Ms. April was right when she had that conversation with me. I'm going to have to make the stand alone. And by making the stand alone, I'm going to have that petition behind me. So hopefully I can get over 1,000 signatures to draw their attention. If I can get over 1,000 signatures on there from people, we can try to get these cameras into these classrooms in the hopes to helping our kids. They have to sit here and face a judge knowing that they're innocent, that they're sitting here defending themselves because it's messed up. Our kids that are in the spectrum and kids that are not in the spectrum should not have to suffer being victims already. They should not have to be put in jail being a victim. They should not have to be put in a mental institution and go through all that and then go through all the trauma, them being the victims. Because it leaves them trauma at the end. And it's hard to help these kids that end up in these deep depressions because of the certain situations they end up in and they didn't look for. I'm going through it right now. I'm fighting it because my son ended up suffering more because of the trauma from the school that he had than what he was supposed to. And it made it hard on his daily living. It made it hard for me as a mom to draw his attention. Now that he's older, HIPAA didn't make it no easy for me. HIPAA took away all my rights as a parent because he's 16 going on 17. Him mad at me, him saying the stuff that he's saying doesn't help me out. If anything, I have to sit here now, fight the system and sit here and try to find a way to save him at the same time. Because I had it under control for a quick second. But once Biden got into office, he took all this away. He took it away. All these services that we're having They keep saying, oh, we're having problems with, we're backed up in the system. This is happening. No, y'all not backed up. The problem is that Biden is doing exactly what he said he was going to do before he became president. Y'all so worried about these puppet masters that y'all don't realize that we're putting the wrong people into office. And our elderly and our kids are the ones paying the consequences. That's a shame. Guys, this is all the time that I got right here. I will see y'all on part 2. So if y'all not subbed up, y'all not going to see me go live. I try to share it on my community wall. I try to share it on Facebook. I try to share it, on the Discord and stuff. I try to let people know when I'm going live because my schedule is kind of crazy. I am trying to transition everything. I'm in the process of, becoming my own boss, starting my own business. So that way I can manage my schedule a little better. So let's see how all this works out, because I really do want to get a community center opened up also. That's why I'm working as hard as I am, hoping that, we can get our kids jobs and things to do to occupy them and keep them off these streets and off these corners. Yes, there's community centers, but I live in North Philly. See, like in my area, for our kids to see them type of places, they would have to travel a distance. And I'm talking about a place where we have rooms like computer labs and stuff like that for the kids that know, they're tech savvy. They could do graphics. They could do all types of stuff. They could make music. They could do all types of stuff. So basically in the computer rooms where they're going to deal with the music, they're going to deal with like making their own little movies. It's basically starting their own brand at a young age. Stuff that they're into, stuff that they could get better, stuff that they could, start their own businesses with as time goes by. And they don't have to work for the next person. See, everybody thinks differently. There's people that want to work for somebody, and there's people that just don't want to work for somebody. They prefer to start their own business and make their money. And these kids are real good. So why not let them start? We got to teach them. We got to show them. Half these kids don't even know how to change the oil in a car. Half these kids don't even know how to clean a bathroom. Half these kids don't know how to wipe their ass. And it's because a lot of these parents don't give a fuck. So shout out to these parents out here that are a part of their kids' lives and don't think that the school system is the ones that need to educate and teach and protect our kids, because that's our jobs as a parent. It's a plus to be able to have people that care and teach our kids. But when it comes to the school system, the people running it, we can't trust them. So we're going to do a part 2 on this, and we're going to listen a little more. And I'm going to show y'all the calendar on part 2 when I do part 2 to this live on when is the next meetings coming up. So I'm trying to get myself together. I'm trying to get myself ready because I'm trying to do one through a Zoom, and I'm going to do it on the Writers for Life We Fight to Reunite page. Well, it's not We Fight to Reunite anymore. It's called Writers for Life, y'all shorty Racheal. So make sure y'all subbed up to my main page too, because those lives are going to be over there. This is a podcast. This is a reaction channel. This is where we just talk about everything and try to bring solutions to the table. Those over there, that main page is a family page. Me fighting the system. Me trying to make a difference. So it's like I separated the two for a reason. So hopefully, let's see how all this works out. And once again, I want to thank everybody that is showing a shorty support, that is rocking out with a shorty, that is, with a shorty throughout this journey, because it hasn't been easy and I've made it this far. And all I can say is I'm blessed. Throughout all the obstacles that have come my way, I'm still blessed. Throughout all the pain that I felt and that I'm feeling right now, I'm still blessed. I'm not mad. I could be disappointed in a lot of things, but disappointment can get fixed. So at the end of the day, listen, I hope all of y'all have a blessed and humble day. I hope all of y'all continue to have a blessed and humble day. So till next time, this is y'all shorty Racheal.
Some people will always have a place in my heart, but not in my life.
Hey, yo, Flory, turn me up.
Because when I tell you that it hurts, it hurts. Envy in your eyes, yet you want trust. Can't tell if you're an enemy or a friend. I mean, back then when I was naive, now I'm older, some say wiser. I'm no fool. I'm only a friend when convenient. Took a while to understand that what was real would never leave. depend on. You say you a friend, where were you when I needed a hand? Shit, you was following a trend. A friend ain't nothing but $1 in your pocket when the money gone, so are they? And they say a friend in need is a friend indeed. You watch as I drown, now I'm getting around while you in the dog pound. Shit. It's funny how karma has a tendency of bringing things back around. It's not funny when the one you look up to is the one wearing the crown. You nothing but a clown. What you need to do is bring that ass back around town. And like Deja says, smack a nigga with an open hand.